What's up, everyone? It's your boy Showtimedr. So, wanted to give you guys a reroll guide here. Done lots of investigating, research, etc. But first, I want you guys to know what's actually going on the screen here. So, top right, just your generic information, the summon rates, photos of stuff. Lower right, that is going to be the where we're actually going to look at the characters' skills and what they do. And then your upper left, that is your character tier list, and your lower left is your arc tier list. Now, things to know before I get into this. Arcs are much more important than characters. Characters are still pretty important, but arcs teach skills to characters, so having a good arc or having a good arc is better than having a good character. Now, that being said, a god tier role would be 2 SSR arcs, or an SSR arc and a character. Now, as for which ones, we're going to get into all that. One thing to note about the characters, they're all technically considered SSR. All characters at endgame can be viable, and it is actually good to build up a ton of different damage types, and not just physical and magical, but elemental types. That type of thing, your healers, your buffers, all that. And there's also certain skills, which I'm going to get into, that are very paramount early game. But one other thing to know, you see on the lower right portion of the screen, this is the Japanese list. I'll be putting links to all these websites here. Not all these characters are available right away, so likewise, Randy is available right away. You also see Randy in the upper left there. He is God tier. And we'll get into why later. Swimsuit Liara and Eliza, however, are not available right now, so do not specifically reroll for these characters. They are both awesome mage characters. One's ice, one's fire. But they're not available for now, so don't worry about rerolling for them. Randy is a physical DPS powerhouse. And real quick, let me get into... This will actually be a good tutorial here for you guys. So Randy, what you can do on this website, once you Google Translate it and all that, it actually has your basic information on why they're strong, what they're strong at, and you can actually click on the motion tabs here to see the arc or basically the motion of all the skills. So you're going to want to pay attention to the motion of these skills because some of them will be better than others. So just so you guys can see here what an average SSR character motion is going to look like. You're going to want to be covering as much ground as possible with your abilities. Not everything has to be the same, obviously. Here's your ultimate ability. And then these are your 3... Every character gets 3 special skills and an ultimate. Everything can be augmented with the arcs. Now, Randy in general, he's a physical powerhouse. The physical characters in this game are the only characters, to my knowledge, that can break. Breaking being lowering stats, such as defense. So you're always going to want to have at least one physical character in most things that you're doing in this game. Probably with the exception of some farming and etc. So, real quick, we'll get out of Randy here. But Randy, definitely, if you get Randy in a good arc, you're probably going to want to start with that. Like I said, Eliza and Swimsuit Liara are not available at the moment. Now, one thing to know real quick before we get back into characters. This character, Sevier, right here. I think I just clicked over her. I think it's a she. She's available after a certain story mode, a really good ice mage. I believe you have to get to level 6, I believe is how it works. So once you get to level 6, you're going to unlock this character. You see her scores at 8 out of 10. 8 is pretty much still pretty powerful, guys. So just so you see the motion. For your early game... I'm wondering if I got the wrong character. Oh no, there's Ice, okay. Your early game, AoEs are very paramount for your farming skills. So you're going to want to get at least... from your arcs or possibly from your characters, because characters do have their own skill sets. One good either medium AoE or just in general an AoE to help you farm faster, because that's one thing I notice most guys overlook. Early game, they just want the high tier characters, and then, well, maybe your high tier character is not that good early. You're going to need a farming unit so that you can farm up and get your characters stronger. So once again, guys, I'm not going to go over every particular character here. You can see the tier list here. But you can see also, like, this character right here. Let me go to... down here, Popoi. You see her. She's one of the top tier magic DPS up there in the upper left picture. But she is rated an 8 out of 10. So just to go to show you that any character in this game can actually be a good character. And depending on your playstyle, you know, the waifu husbando effect. And of course, whichever arcs you got to amp, you know, magical damage, ice damage, whatever you got going on, can still be very powerful, even if the tier list doesn't necessarily say so. So I'm gonna get off characters, because quite honestly, guys, the characters in this game, yeah, they're good, but the arcs are actually the thing that you're coming back for. Oh, well, should I get into that now? Yeah, let's do arcs, and then I'll give you guys at the end of this video, it's not gonna be too much longer, I'm gonna give you guys at the end of this video some useful skills to pick up early and why they're useful. So the number one agreed arc that is the most useful, let me scroll up here, is I think it's called something else in English, but here it's like, I think it's like Magical Boat or something, but basically Ravelon right here. Reason Ravelon's so good. Gives you a free lightning AoE attack early at level 1, so that's really good for farming. You also get reduced enemy strength by 20. Now, one thing to note, and I put this on my tips video, you do not want to level your arc past level 2 early game, just because deploying it costs so much resources once you get at higher level. So you're going to have to, whatever it says on the first couple levels, you're going to have to live with that for a while, probably into late mid-game at least, from what I've seen. So get used to that. We'll be going over some of these other skills, but I do want to show you guys this empty boat here and why it is so strong. So now it has one thing, an automatic barrier that activates. For those who don't know how arcs work, your arcs can teach their skills to any character that you have. So that's one of the reasons your arcs are actually more important than your characters in general, because your arcs are not only teaching skills. For those of you that have played Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, there is a farming method that is very similar to the Trust Mastery rewards, the original Trust Mastery rewards, to where once you farm it up, see how it says here, Arc Ether 100%, that's basically TMR 100%. You're going to get this item, and you can equip this item on whoever the hell you want. Now, let me get the skill here. There is, this skill apparently is very good early game and into late game, but this is the arc that you can get it early. Most of the time you have to wait until at least mid game to be able to get this skill. It is an aura that basically activates at the beginning of combat. So what happens is, let me get down here, here we go. Favorable situation. I'm trying to, where are the damn stats? Well, basically, it gives you a 25% chance to dodge, as well as a 25% attack boost. Here it is right here. That's going to be it at level 10. Now, early levels, you know, it'll probably be something a little bit less than that, but still, what you're basically getting is survivability as well as increased damage, which means you are going to farm faster, and you are going to be able to clear faster, you know, less playtime, etc. So, and then also you see here, learn lightning magic, riser's gauge from the beginning. So basically, like I said earlier, AoEs are paramount to farming early. Also, lightning seems to be a very powerful element early game. I've read that it is effective against most characters that you will be fighting, especially for farming and you know, cleanup purposes and even boss purposes. So that's how that is. Now, one thing to note, remember how I told you guys not to level up your arc past level 2? Well, this is the deployment cost right here. So you see here, consumption, once you deploy it, at level 2 it's 1200, you take it to level 10, it's basically 100 times that, or not quite, but whatever the multiple is. 10 times that, not 100 times. Am I? No, yeah, it'd be 100 times. So, not quite. 100 times would be 120,000, but you get my gist. It's pretty much 100 times there, so keep your gauge at level 2. And this is the arc that I will personally be re-rolling for, but there are other good arcs to go over. One thing to note too, once you get this to endgame, where is it? I guess it doesn't say it here. Okay, let me go back. It's easier to read it from the other screen. Once it translates up. So magical aura right here. Yeah, I guess it's not going to translate it. Well, basically what magical aura does is, oh, there it goes, okay. It increases the power of magic, basically increasing the cost of the spell. So pretty much it's an empowered version of spells. So once you do get that to level 10 late game, your magic characters are going to be even more feasting like crazy. So now, you can see here on the tier list, if you notice something, there's empty Ravelon right there, so we'll go ahead, we'll take a look at this one, because that's the other magic one that's recommended. Archangel Smile, I'm not sure, because it's technically below, but for some reason it's higher on this tier list, so of course, this is all like, you know, not necessarily universally agreed upon, but we're still going to take some looks at some of these. And then we'll also take a look at this exotic one over here. And then after we look at these three, I'll give you guys a list of skills that you want to be on the lookout for. And then we'll pretty much call it there for this video, because there's so much to go over that I don't want to keep you guys for like hours. It's just pretty ridiculous. So this one, I remember someone telling me, what's the technical name for it? Hui Handuao, something like that. You'll see it. It's rated an 8.5 out of 10. What I've heard is this is the farmer arc. So you see here, restores 5% of HP whenever enemies die. There's boosts here, various boosts. But you see the HP regen goes up. Well, that will enable you to farm. Some of the farm dungeons have lots of ads. You know, you can basically almost have... once your characters are strong enough, you almost don't need a healer, so you could just put more people on the killing or the buffing part. And then this one also gives you dark magic at the beginning. Dark magic is fairly rare, from what I've heard in this game. So... or fairly rare early. Probably not later, but fairly rare early. And then specialized for offensive characters, kind of like I said before. And there's your consumption, so that's pretty much how this one works. Special ability, strength, darkness right there. Now, we'll get into this one here. Yuslan. Oh, if you notice too, the arcs have different souls that they consume. So some of them, they deploy with red souls, some of them deploy with blue souls. Eventually in this game, when you're strong enough, you can go to farming dungeons without deploying any arcs. Because arcs kind of serve as a soft stamina in this game, because you can only farm so much blue soul and so much red soul at once with reactors and other various methods. So eventually when you're farming, you actually don't want to put arcs on if possible, unless it's really absolutely necessary. So this is also a debuffer arc, so very good for boss battles or anything with lots of health, lots of damage that you don't want to deal with right away. Also puts up counter here early, which is pretty good. So you see here at level 1, critical rate and, well, I'm assuming that's rate and damage. Not sure, it says occurrence, so maybe that just translated wrong. So right here we'll read about it. Skills that can be acquired by the sword standing in Uslan are powerful for physical characters. They can use both physical attack up and physical magic. So one thing I've heard is that there's various bosses in this game that are either physical resistant, magic resistant, but you still want a physical character on a physical resistant boss because that character has to break the various skills, or stats rather, that boss has. So you're still going to be taking a physical character. Well, some of the arcs in the game can enable that physical character to do more magical damage, even though it's still amped off their physical attack. So this is going to be one of those right here. So not sure when that's going to come in, if that's going to be a mid-game thing or more of an end-game thing rather. Let's see here. So it looks like this also amps sword damage, which is pretty good. Alright, and then our last arc we're going to look at here. And keep in mind, guys, you're going to be mixing and matching skills, so depending on what characters you have, one arc might not be that great for this character or that character, what have you. So, this one is called Magrona, Exotic Magrona. And it looks like this will actually be a boss monster killer, because you see the bonus damage to boss monsters here. Non-human boss monsters. It says it specializes in physics, but it can also be equipped with magical characters, so that's something. And then very high strength values. So your physical characters and your magical characters apparently are going to do good with this. And also a boss killer, so you could stick this on particular characters you have that hit harder for certain boss skills. Like I said, you could switch skills in and out. For a cost, but that's still what it is. But just keep in mind, guys, you're teaching skills to whichever characters you're going to get. So your arcs are going to play a more vital role than your characters for the most part. Even with the base characters, guys, the storyline characters we're all going to get, they're still very capable of handling stuff if you've got your arc management under control. So, real quick, I'm going to find you guys some of the skills I was talking about earlier. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, so here's a couple of the skills you gotta look for. Debuffs are very useful. Bracer, which will have a red insignia, and Lostoma, which will have a purple insignia. Bracer is a strength debuff. Lostoma is an int debuff, and it is a 20% stat debuff. But apparently, the way the formula works, it's kind of this convoluted FFBE style formula. The actual damage reduction is actually way better than the 20%. So it's basically like a hard break for those of you that played Brave Exvius. Very good for boss fights, and then, you know, helpful for early fights as well. Some of the stuff that, you know, you got to progression cap that you could do with the buff, or excuse me, with the debuff that you couldn't necessarily do with it. Other skills, like I already mentioned, any AoE you can get is good, but bonus points if you can get lightning or dark early. And you're also going to need an AoE heal spell. There is one that's pretty easy to get called Heal Wind. And let's see some of the characters that have it. Tyria, T-I-R-I-A, Leela, and Lucille can learn it in their skill tree. Otherwise, there are 3 arcs that can do it. Maiden Prayer, Oldana Arena, and Giant Tree. So let me I'll actually find those characters and those arcs for you. And some of those arcs, guys, are like our arcs. So if you manage to get one of those, I'm trying to find one of them here. Yeah, it might not actually be in the tier list. Yeah, not in the tier list, so... Oh, there's an SR arc list, okay. Hold on, I'll find it here one way or another. Two of them look like trees. There's one. Okay, so Oldon Arena right here. This is one of them that has Heal Wind. It's misspelled here, but Heal Wind. So be looking for that skill. You can get at level 1 if you happen to get this along with all your other arcs. You know, consider that a little bonus. There's also 2 that look like trees I'm trying to find. Maiden's Prayer is one of them. With Heal Wind. Sorry, it's like a little bit up. Maiden's Prayer right here with Heal Wind. Or Olden Arena, sorry. And Maiden's Prayer does have it as well. And there's another one that looks like a tree, I just don't. But anyways, basically, if one of the skills that your arc has is Heal Wind, you're in good shape for your healing. There it is, Giant Tree. Giant Tree also has Heal. No, Heal Wind, but it's at level 4 though. But I don't know, maybe deploying a level 4 arc early is not that bad. Otherwise, characters that have it, let me go ahead. Look for that. Actually, where are the damn characters? Okay, there's Randy. Also, guys, something that's important on your characters is going to be their stagger. How often they can stagger opponents, because you can interrupt in this game. So, do be looking out for that as well. Let me see here. So the characters were Tyria, Lila, or Lucille. Let's see if we can find some of them. There's Lucille right here. So Lucille, you happen to get Lucille. That is a character with the early game heal. Lila, not Lyra. So, and then what's the other one? Tyria and Lila is who we're looking for. There's Tilia right here, so if you get her, she's got that AoE heal we were talking about. Yeah, so many L characters in this game. Well, I guess there's no SR. Oh, that's right, they aren't SRs. I wonder if they mean this one a little bit. Well, anyways, basically if you get that heal wind spell, consider that a bonus on top of whatever else you got going on. And that's pretty much it for your early game explanation for tier list, guys. So pretty much, quite honestly, any of these characters, let me expand them just a bit so you guys can see. Any of these characters or arcs are going to be pretty good for you early game. And like I said, I'm going to be leaving a link, so be looking for that. Also, there's a link to my Discord, all that, so you can come in. You know, depending on when this game actually drops, I'll be streaming it later today, most likely, unless I fall asleep before it comes out or it's delayed. And that is pretty much going to be it for me, guys. So I hope this helps you out on understanding what's going on with the characters. Definitely try to get yourself 2 arcs. I'm going to be rolling personally for the, what was that called? The ghost ship or whatever. Empty boat, that's what it's called. So I'm going to be going for empty boat, and if I get something with it, great. If I don't, then I don't. And that is going to be it for this video, guys. So good luck on your rerolls, and be sure to check out my tips and tricks as well video for early game tips and tricks, stuff you should be spending your resources on, focusing on, what to do, what not to do, yada yada. So, and I'm Showtimedr. I will catch you guys on a later video. Have a great day.